world international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome to Millennium News Hour. I am Tanzeeba Naurin. In today's bulletin, we will present top and trending news from across the nation and the world. Let's begin with the headlines of the day. President Biden to visit Israel and vaccine hesitancy on the rise for pregnant women. Jim Jordan suffers defeat on first ballot for speaker race, leaving fate uncertain. Trump attends NY fraud trial despite Michael Cohen's absence. Funeral in US for Palestinian American boy killed in suspected hate crime. Britney Spears says in memoir she had an abortion after pregnancy with Justin Timberlake. Israeli airstrike kills 500 in Gaza hospital. Blast kills hundreds at Gaza hospital. Hamas and Israel trade blame as Biden heads to Mideast. Ukraine uses US-provided long-range ATACMS missiles against Russian forces for the first time. Putin in China to meet dear friend Xi. India top court declines to allow same-sex marriages. Netherlands beat South Africa with shock ICC Cricket World Cup win. Oscar winner Michelle Yeoh elected to be an International Olympic Committee member. And former NFL star Antonio Brown arrested for allegedly failing to pay child support. You are listening to Headlines, now news in detail. President Joe Biden will visit Israel tomorrow, his second foray into an active war zone this year, after visiting Ukraine in February. Biden's visit at the invitation of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is a show of solidarity with the country as it reels from Hamas' surprise attack and prepares for a ground invasion of the Gaza Strip. During the visit, Biden is expected to meet with Netanyahu and other Israeli leaders. He will also stop in neighboring Jordan to meet with regional leaders who are crucial to the effort to protect Palestinian civilians and stabilize the Middle East over the long term, said White House National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby. Blinken announced yesterday that the US and Israel have agreed to develop a plan to enable humanitarian aid to reach civilians in Gaza. An aid convoy carrying critical equipment has been stuck on the Egyptian side of the Rafah border crossing as Gaza's hospitals are overwhelmed and necessities are in short supply. The director of Gaza's border crossings was killed this morning, the region's government said. Part of his remit includes the Rafah crossing, where hundreds of foreign nationals have been waiting to exit the Strip into Egypt for days, but the gate remains closed. The House remained deadlocked Tuesday as Representative Jim Jordan of Ohio failed to secure enough votes to become Speaker on the first ballot. Jordan received 200 votes, well short of the 217 votes needed to win on the House floor. 20 Republicans voted for someone other than Jordan. He could afford to lose only 3 GOP votes given that Representative Gus Bilirakis of Florida, a Jordan supporter, missed the vote due to a funeral, and all 212 Democrats voted for Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries of New York. The vote represents the angst and bitterness that persists among Republicans after the House was thrown into paralysis 2 weeks ago, when a band of 8 conservative rebels voted to oust Kevin McCarthy as Speaker in an unprecedented move. "I am for McCarthy," said Representative Carlos Jimenez of Florida, adding that he won't cast his ballot for anyone else. The vote proves that Jordan, the chairman of the powerful Judiciary Committee, who was endorsed by Donald Trump, still has work to do in persuading holdouts. His allies went into the Tuesday vote recognizing they may need multiple ballots to secure victory, but with an air of confidence that enough Republicans would come around. After the eviction of McCarthy, Republicans nominated Majority Leader Steve Scalise of Los Angeles to succeed him, but he withdrew after seeing no path to winning enough votes. Then the conference selected Jordan, a right-wing firebrand who had lost an earlier closed-door election to Scalise. McCarthy and Scalise both voted for Jordan on the first ballot Tuesday. Former President Donald Trump made another appearance at the $250 million civil fraud trial against him and his company, even though the star witness he was planning to watch won't be testifying. Trump arrived at the courthouse in Lower Manhattan shortly before the trial began around 10 a.m. Speaking to reporters before entering the courtroom, he decried the trial as rigged and accused New York Attorney General Letitia James of election interference as he graved that he should be someplace else campaigning. Trump is not required to attend the proceedings. He later told reporters he plans on returning Wednesday as well. James has accused Trump of wildly exaggerating his net worth on financial statements to banks and insurance companies. Trump said Tuesday that James and her office are the frauds, while again complaining about her having cited the Palm Beach County tax assessor appraising the value of his Mar-a-Lago club at between $18 million and $27 million between 2011 and 2021 as proof of fraud. Trump's financial statements valued the property at between $400 million and $600 million. He then showed how fungible he considers those values to be. James valued Mar-a-Lago at $18 million when its worth may be close to 100 times that amount, Trump said. The house is worth $1 billion and a half, $750 million. It's worth a fortune, he said, calling it the most expensive house probably in the world. Sources had said last week that Trump planned to watch testimony from his former lawyer turned foe Michael Cohen that was originally scheduled for Tuesday. But Cohen said Friday he was dealing with a health issue and wouldn't be in court that day as planned. Judge Arthur Engoron said Monday that Cohen's testimony would be delayed for at least a week. Mourners in the United States have gathered to honor Wadeal Fahmy, a 6-year-old boy stabbed to death by a man. Police say targeted him and his mother because they were Muslim and Palestinian Americans. The funeral took place on Monday at the Mosque Foundation in Bridgeview, Illinois, a community southwest of Chicago with a large Palestinian population. The suspected attacker, 71-year-old Joseph Chuba, has been charged with murder and hate crimes. This is a heavy day. It is a worst nightmare come true. It is something we have tried to warn against. Ahmed Rehab, the executive director of the Chicago office of the Council on American Islamic Relations, said on Monday. It pains me that the sacrificial lamb to this atmosphere was this beautiful young 6-year-old boy. Hanan Shaheen, the boy's mother, was attacked by Cuba after she said they should pray for peace as Israel and Palestine are engulfed in the most dire fighting in decades. Cuba then attacked her with a knife, and when she tried to escape by running into the bathroom, he found Wadia and stabbed him 26 times, killing him. Shaheen suffered multiple wounds but is expected to survive. Muslim groups have sought to raise alarm over the last 2 weeks as a war between Israel and the armed Palestinian group Hamas escalates and brings with it an outpouring of dehumanizing rhetoric on social media, some of which depicts Palestinians as violent and uncivilized. Britney Spears says she had an abortion after getting pregnant with Justin Timberlake, a revelation from an excerpt of the pop star's upcoming memoir published Tuesday by People magazine. Justin definitely wasn't happy about the pregnancy. Spears wrote about her pregnancy with then 18-year-old Timberlake in her memoir. He said, "We weren't ready to have a baby in our lives, that we were way too young." Spears was 17 when she started dating Timberlake in 1999, and the pair were together until 2002. In her memoir, The Woman in Me, the 41-year-old singer describes meeting Timberlake when she was 11 on the set of the Mickey Mouse Club and her first kiss with him during a game of Truth or Dare. Representatives for Spears and Timberlake did not immediately respond to requests for comment. The Woman in Me will be released October 24. The title comes from Spears' reflections on her soul-crushing 13-year conservatorship under her father, Jamie Spears. In addition to taking away her power to make her own medical and financial decisions, Spears said it stripped her of her womanhood. We will be back after a short break. Till then, stay with us. This world continuously revolving around various events. Every minute, every second, something is happening somewhere around the globe, and you want to get connected to that event or to that specific moment. Here we come, Millennium News Hour, to get you connected with top USA and international trending news, which includes local news, political news, world news, business news, health and science related news, entertainment news, sports news, and so on. Millennium News 24 is transmitted and available to be watched free for all at TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV, and Apple TV, and also in all European countries and Australia, available with Sky Network, Worldwide Jago TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jago BD Network, and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with Millennium News Hour to get the world news on your fist. Welcome back to Millennium News Hour. Now it's time for global updates. An Israeli airstrike killed at least 300 people at a Gaza City hospital on Tuesday, authorities in the Palestinian enclave said. And the United Nations said an Israeli strike also hit one of its schools being used as a shelter. A Gaza civil defense chief said on Al Jazeera television that more than 300 people were killed at Al Ahli Al Arabi Hospital. A Gaza health ministry source said at least 500 people were killed. Both departments are under the Hamas-run government. Israel's military said it was still ironing out all the details on the reports of the strikes on both the hospital and the school. Health authorities in Gaza say at least 3,000 people have been killed in Israel's intense 11-day bombardment since Hamas militants rampaged into Israeli towns on October 7, killing more than 1,300 soldiers and civilians. News of the hospital blast came on the eve of US President Joe Biden's visit to Israel on Wednesday, and with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz visiting on Tuesday. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said it's not acceptable to hit a hospital. Egypt said it denounced the attack in the strongest terms. A senior Palestinian official says President Mahmoud Abbas has cancelled his participation in a meeting scheduled Wednesday with President Joe Biden and other Middle East leaders. Abbas was scheduled to join Jordan's King Abdullah II and Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi at Wednesday's summit in Amman, Jordan, where they are to discuss the latest Israel-Hamas war with Biden. But the senior official said Abbas was withdrawing to protest an alleged Israeli airstrike on a hospital in Gaza that Hamas health officials say has killed over 500 people. The official spoke on condition of anonymity because the cancellation has not been formally announced. The United States has quietly delivered a small number of long-range ballistic missiles that Ukraine said it urgently needed and that President Joe Biden promised last month. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky confirmed Tuesday, saying they were used on the battlefield against Russia and executed very accurately. Today I express special gratitude to the United States, Zelensky said in his evening address, adding that the missiles have proven themselves. The US has refused to discuss the delivery publicly, but officials familiar with the move also confirmed it earlier in the day. Fewer than a dozen of the missiles got into Ukraine within the last few days, said officials. Their arrival at the war front gives Ukraine a critical ability to strike Russian targets that are further away, allowing Ukrainian forces to stay safely out of range. The officials were not authorized to publicly discuss the matter before an official announcement and spoke Tuesday on the condition of anonymity. The delivery of the Army Tactical Missile System, known as ATACMS, was shrouded in secrecy, with the expectation that the first public acknowledgement would come when the missiles were used on the battlefield. That intense secrecy is a marked change from previous US weapons sent by the Biden administration. In nearly all other cases, the US has publicly announced its decision prior to the weapons and equipment being shipped overseas. Russian President Vladimir Putin arrived in China on Tuesday to meet his dear friend Xi Jinping and bolster their relationship at a summit that will be overshadowed by the Israel-Hamas war. China this week welcomes representatives of 130 countries for a forum of President Xi's vast trade and infrastructure Belt and Road Initiative. At the top of the guest list is Putin, who is on his first trip to a major global power since the Ukraine invasion threw his regime into international isolation. He is due to hold talks with Xi on the sidelines of the forum on Wednesday, the Kremlin said. With the war raging between Israel and Palestinian militant organization Hamas looming large over the summit, during the talks, special attention will be paid to international and regional issues, the Kremlin said in a statement. Without elaborating, the United States has asked China to use its influence to help de-escalate the war, which has seen more than 1 million people in the blockaded Gaza Strip flee their homes under the relentless bombardment that Israel launched in retaliation for the attack. India's top court on Tuesday said it cannot legalize same-sex marriages, with the Chief Justice of the country saying making such a law is the domain of Parliament. A 5-judge bench headed by the Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud, heard arguments in the case between April and May this year and pronounced its verdict on Tuesday. Chandrachud said there was a degree of agreement and disagreement on how far we have to go on same-sex marriages as he began reading his order. 2 of the other 4 judges agreed with Chandrachud on the court not legalizing same-sex marriages, making it a majority. 2 other judges are yet to speak. The court ruling comes 5 years after a historic 2018 judgment when the Supreme Court scrapped a colonial-era ban on gay sex. Only Taiwan and Nepal allow same-sex unions in Asia, where largely conservative values still dominate politics and society. Now it's time for business news. Today's New York stock close price is 15,541.38. The NYSE Composite is increased by 56.88 points or 0.37%. Tokyo stock close price is 32,040.29. The Nikkei 225 index is increased by 381.26 points or 1.20%. Shanghai stock close price is 3083.50. The Shanghai index is increased by 9.68 points or 0.32%. Hong Kong stock close price is 17,773.34. The Hang Seng index is increased by 132.98 points or 0.75%. Bombay stock close price is 66,428.09. The Sensex index is increased by 261.16 points or 0.39%. Let's have a look on today's sports stories. The Netherlands put on a stunning display of tight bowling and powerful late innings batting to beat South Africa by 38 runs in the ICC Cricket World Cup 2023 in Dharmshala on Tuesday. Putting to bat on the variable bounce pitch at the HPCA Stadium in the middle of the Himalayan mountains, the Dutch set the Proteas a target of 246 runs, thanks to two big partnerships at the end of their innings. Edwards scored 78 runs of 69 balls, hitting 10 fours and 6 much to the delight of the Dutch crowd. With the win, the Netherlands bagged their first 2 points of the tournament after 3 matches. They play a weakened Sri Lankan side in their 4th match on Saturday, October 21. Meanwhile, South Africa remain on 4 points after 3 matches. Their next match is against Bangladesh on Tuesday, October 24. Oscar-winning actor Michelle Yeoh was elected as a member of the International Olympic Committee on Tuesday, despite some no votes from her new colleagues. 8 new IOC members were voted in to make a total of 107 drawn from royal families, sports officials, current and former athletes, and leaders from politics and industry. After being summoned to the lectern by Princess Nora of Liechtenstein, the longest-serving IOC member at 39 years, you read the 104-word oath while holding a corner of the Olympic flag, white with 5 colored rings. I promise to fight against all forms of discrimination and dedicate myself in all circumstances to promote the interests of the International Olympic Committee and Olympic movement, you said to complete the oath. Like the other new recruits, Yeoh was presented with a golden medallion by IOC President Thomas Bach. Former NFL wide receiver Antonio Brown was arrested in Florida on a warrant for outstanding child support payments, according to the Broward County Sheriff's Department. The warrant was put out for Brown's arrest last week, court documents showed, for allegedly failing to abide by a child support agreement with Wilterise Jackson, the mother of his eldest daughter. Brown has since been released from custody after posting a $15,000 bond, police told. Jackson said that the former Tampa Bay Buccaneers player owed over $30,000 in child support. TMZ reported on Sunday. The former NFL star has previously courted controversy, running into trouble both on and off the field. Let's have a look on today's weather forecast. Before finishing today's news, let's hear out the headlines again. President Biden to visit Israel and vaccine hesitancy on the rise for pregnant women. Jim Jordan suffers defeat on first ballot for speaker race, leaving fate uncertain. Trump attends NY fraud trial despite Michael Cohen's absence. Funeral in US for Palestinian American boy killed in suspected hate crime. Britney Spears says in memoir she had an abortion after pregnancy with Justin Timberlake. Israeli airstrike kills 500 in Gaza hospital. Blast kills hundreds at Gaza hospital. Hamas and Israel trade blame as Biden heads to Mideast. Ukraine uses US-provided long-range ATACMS missiles against Russian forces for the first time. Putin in China to meet dear friend Xi. India top court declines to allow same-sex marriages. Netherlands beat South Africa with shock ICC Cricket World Cup win. Oscar winner Michelle Yeoh elected to be an International Olympic Committee member. And former NFL star Antonio Brown arrested for allegedly failing to pay child support. That's all for today. Keep watching Millennium News Hour for latest news update. To stay updated, like our Facebook page, subscribe our YouTube channel and visit our website. Our website address is www.millenniumnews24.com. Millennium News 24 is transmitted and available to be watched free for all at TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV and Apple TV. And also in all European countries and Australia available with the Sky Network, Worldwide Jago TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jago BT Network and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with us for all the latest news worldwide. Thank you.